I hope your science fair project is going great, and by now you are ready for your science fair display board. Okay, so here is one example of how you can do your science fair display board. So up here at the left, you can put your problem. Underneath, you put your hypothesis, and underneath that, you put your materials. You have your project title. Make sure your title is something that is catchy. It catches the person's attention. It's not just like salt crystals. No, it gets catchy. Right here is your data. Now, I'm going to show you that in a minute because it is in your packet. Below that, you put your photos. So you do not have to put your photos of every trial. Just a few photos showing that you did the project, what it looked like, that you had fun doing it. So we did salt crystals, so what I would do is I just post pictures of the different cups we did with the salt crystals and how they formed on the stick. If you did nail polish, you would just take the pictures of your hands. Maybe do like the 2 different colors of nail polishes, or the brands you did, or like your hand next to the fingernail polish bottles. If you did the chocolate, you would just take the picture, the chocolate before, the chocolate after. Just show them that you did the project and what it looked like before and afters. After that, you put your procedure, so that your procedure is what you did. Remember that long step-by-step process that I wrote out in our last video? That is what that is. Your results, you would write whatever your result is. Make sure you have the titles and then the conclusion. So what was the end of your project? So when you're doing this, make sure you do have the title, problem, hypothesis, materials. I did give you some in your packet, but you do not have to use it. You may create your own. I know some people like to use them with the crazy words or type up their own and print them. That's fine. So this is one way to do your display board. The other way is like this. So again, it has the problems, the hypothesis, the materials are down here, your procedures, your conclusion. Here's all your data in this area, and then your graph table, and then the pictures. And then this is where we would put like our notebook. The notebook needs to be with your project board. So the journal I have sent home in the folder, that is what you'll have like right here when we show your project board, because we want to see both of them. Did you do it all? Did you do your journal and did you do your project board? So that is that. Okay, so now to our graphing our data. So here I went ahead and graphed our data from our salt cups in class. So right here I put the number of days, skip counting by 2. So 2 days, 4 days, 6 days, 8 days, 10 days, 12 days, 14. All the way up here to the top. So you see I put the days, so how many days it took. Down here, TB is table salt, SS is sea salt, ES is Epsom salt. So right here I graphed in between 2 and 4 because that's 3. It took 3 days to do the table salt. It took 3 days for the sea salt to form a crystal. And then over here in Epsom salt, it took 6 days to form a crystal, and then it started to like mold on the top of it. So this is how I graphed my data. I only did one trial because it took days, not like minutes. So it took 3 days for this, 3 days for this, and then 6 days over here. And it's up here for the titles, the days it took to form salt crystals. So when it comes to your hypothesis, your conclusion, your results, this is where that would come from, this data right here, and your hypothesis. So was your hypothesis right? So, for instance, my hypothesis was not correct. I thought Epsom salt would form salt crystals first, but to be honest, it was the table salt that formed crystals first. This started showing before the sea salt because the sea salt was so fine. So that is how you would graph your data. Okay, so going back to your data, I would then go to my data table and I would graph it. So day 1 for my sea salt, because I didn't do trials, I just did by days. Day 1, none of them formed salt, so I put X's. Day 2, none of them still had salt. Day 3, table salt and sea salt had them, so I put checks. And the Epsom salt had an X. Day 4, check, check, X. Day 5, check, check, X. Day 6, they all now had crystals. Day 7 still. And so I stopped at day 7. And then going into your hypothesis, because I filled this out last time, it wouldn't be trials, but during my investigation, I found out that the Epsom salt did not form crystals fastest. In conclusion, my hypothesis was wrong because I thought Epsom salt was going to form crystals faster, but the table salt actually did, so that's what I would put here instead of this. And then real world, it would still be the same because, well, knowing this, people could apply this to like bath salts, knowing that if I tried to make homemade bath salts, would they work right? Would they not work right? So that's how you would do that. So then what you would do is you would transfer all this to the packet that's stapled that has all the stuff for your project board. And you would make it more neat and less crazy. So that was what you would do. If you have any more questions, please let me know.